This is Lisa Stewart, the curator of the Appalachian Bear Center, Bear Rescue.
Yes.
Lisa, thanks for being with us. Tell us a little bit about Appalachian Bear Rescue.
Appalachian Bear Rescue took its first bear cub in 1996. We were actually chartered as a tax-exempt nonprofit organization to service black bear cubs back in 1990. It took us until 91 to get everything organized, and since 1996, taking our first bear cub, we've serviced 129 since that time. And I feel very honored to be a part of the organization. We're a very small organization with a huge mission. We service the Tennessee bears by Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, admitting them to our facility, and also the National Park Service. But our facility is open to help wildlife entities through the eastern United States. So we take in out-of-state bears as well. When we do that, those bears go back to their home state for wild releases, while we're also focusing on the Tennessee bears when we want to put them back in our national park area, and then also out in the management areas with Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Since that's the icon of the Smoky Mountains, we want to do everything we possibly can to make sure that we service our bears in need.
Lisa, how does a bear qualify to get into the rescue center?
Most of the time we admit cubs in the spring of the year, and that happens when a bear has emerged from a den with its mother, and things happen. Sows can be hit by cars. There can be a very harsh prior winter where they're not getting the food that they need. They may perish in the process. There are a number of reasons that cubs become orphaned. When wildlife officials get the reports about these cubs, then they contact us, tell us what they have at hand, and we admit the cubs and start giving them immediate medical attention, but most importantly, the natural foods that they need to have.
How long do they usually stay there?
Generally, our season starts from the spring, where we take in the small cubs in their own formula, and then by the middle of the year, they're eating solid foods and foraging just like they would in the wild, and then we have them prepared to have fall releases, and sometimes winter releases in our winter times that are not so harsh. When they're mild winters, we can release them as late as December of each year. But typically, we want to take them in April or May and have them out by November.
And what's the capacity? How many bears can you handle?
Well, I don't know how many we could possibly handle. We don't ever turn away a bear. Last year was our record season. We serviced 23 bear cubs, and then we had a strange season beginning in the 2010 year where we serviced almost all yearlings. And the yearlings came to us in a depleted condition because they had suffered a harsh winter last year, not having the natural food that they needed. So we've already had 16 yearlings that we've had into the facility. We've released 15 bears in the last 2 months, and we have 2 on site right now. But we've had a continuous year and a half servicing cubs. Our bear enclosure that services all of these bears, keeping them in a natural setting, has been ravaged by these bears. So even though we have a lull now as far as the numbers in our facility, we are doing the laborious task now to get the bear enclosure back up to par so that we can take in the bears of the fall or the new cubs coming back in the spring.
Do the bears get along pretty good when they're in there, or
They
do you
really
have issues with them? Do they really?
Actually, they get along much better than you and I do, and I think we're doing pretty well. And they forage in that natural facility. They have dens, they have trees to climb, they have pools to swim in, and they interact with each other very well. In fact, I think bears think the more the merrier. So there's very little aggression that you have to worry about with black bears as long as they're with each other.
What are some of the immediate needs that you need for the center?
Well, there again, after servicing so many bears in such a short period of time, our bear enclosure is in many needs of repairs, general things like that, and especially being in the middle of the woods, there's only a few things that we can do, but we want to preserve our natural setting and protect the trees. But the bear enclosure itself requires repairs to the fence, concreting and things like that, down to the pen area where the bears are cared for. We also have several areas when bears come into us needing specific medical attention. There are separate enclosures for them. All of those have to be upgraded and maintained as well. So even when we get to the point by the end of the year where we've got most of our residents out in the wild where they belong, we still have continuous tasks to keep the facility updated and upgraded to be able to take in more and more bears as they need us.
Out of your experience with the bears, what's one of the most unusual things that you've had to deal with?
Every day is an education with bears, and I find that they're much smarter than I'll ever be. But I think probably the most rewarding thing is when you take in a bear that is near death. to find out with the proper and quick medical attention, the expertise of the biologists that find them in the field, and then get them to us where we can work with our technicians and surgeons at University of Tennessee, the College of Veterinary Medicine, to give them all the things that they need and see them bounce back. Bears are tremendously resilient. They're very courageous, and when we can give our resources to them so that they can bounce back from a terrible situation where they've already been orphaned, bears are very rarely abandoned. So we're talking about an orphan situation where they've lost a mother to a car accident or something like that. To know that we can give them the things that they need, all the essentials that they require to be able to not be habituated and go back out as better specimens when we put them back out in their wild habitat. So that's very important to us. Everything is a miracle as far as I'm concerned with the work that we do at Appalachian Bear Rescue, but each day is an exciting event.
Lisa, if there are people out here watching this and they want to help, they want to be a part of it, what should they do?
Please visit our website at www.appalachianbearrescue.org. We have a link on the front page that takes you right to our blog, gives you all the current news, and then a larger site for them to browse through. Also call our office line at area code 865-448-0143, and I'll be glad to talk to everyone that calls. And we have many people that are offering wonderful gatherings from their yard. They have apples and pears and acorns at this time of year, and we can arrange donations and pickups by a phone call. So we appreciate all the help from our great supporters.
Well, Lisa, thank you so much,
Thank you.
And what a rewarding job. That just
Yes, it is.
sounds wonderful. I know that our guests that come to the Smoky Mountains love to see a black bear, and
They certainly do.
what you're doing is great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.